Hey guys, it's me, Letitia, the Crafty Curator, back for another update video. Today is Saturday, January 20th. We may have a visitor here because my little stitchy buddy Frankie is right next to me. I don't know if he'll make an appearance or not, but he is investigating all of the stuff that is about to be shared with you guys. Just got finished watching Ginger Gerald Stitcher's live video. It's pretty great, pretty fun. I've never done a live video, but I definitely would consider it. It was a live stitch with me video, so it was fun not only stitching along with him, but I liked the interaction that I had with the viewers and that he had with the viewers, and he can answer questions live. So it was a really nice change. So I might give that a go. I've been recording, there's a tail. I've been recording a lot more recently, a lot more frequently lately, especially with introducing more of the Stitch With Me videos, but I want to make sure that I have an even mix. So I was about to do a Stitch With Me video today, and I was like, no. So I think the last time I did an update was when I finished the Embrace, and after that I did a Stitch With Me video. So I'm going to try to just alternate them. Even though I intended to have one available for the Friday night stitch-in last night, it didn't quite happen. But I definitely enjoyed watching everybody else's Stitch With Me videos. So I hope everybody's having a good year so far. Is it the 20th? Oh my gosh. Wasn't it like New Year's Day yesterday? Anyway, oh my gosh. January's flying by, isn't it? So I hope everybody's having a good New Year so far. Very stitchy New Year so far. I don't know what this cat is doing. He's gotten a hold of stuff. He's very sneaky. It's been a good year for me stitching wise so far. I got 3 finishes in. How about that? How about that? That's more than I did last year. That's more than I finished last year. So I finished the Embrace. Thank you guys so much for your wonderful comments on that last video, and of course on Instagram and Stitch Mania. On Stitch Mania and Instagram, Friday Off the Grid, those social media venues, I read every single comment. I read every single comment. Thank you so much. But I didn't reply to everyone, but I did try to leave a heart letting you know that I read it and I appreciated it. Absolutely overwhelming support and response, and I truly appreciated all of your kind words. The Embrace is at the Framers right now as we speak. There's something in my eye, so if I keep adjusting my eye, that's why it feels like there's an eyelash in there or something. So the Embrace is at the Framers as we speak. I finished Be the Elephant. She is on her way to Jan Stitching Necessities, who's going to whip that up into a wonderful project bag for me. I posted pictures of the project bag, the fabric that I got from, what's the name of it? Twisted Cedar Studios. She is at Twisted Cedar Studios on Instagram and www.tcsffabrics.com. Got it off of Etsy. Very good prices. Very quick shipping. I was extremely impressed. Excellent quality on the fabric. Just a wonderful experience. So if any of you buy fabrics online or are hesitant about buying fabrics online, I bought my elephant fabric from her as well as my peacock fabric from her. And the elephant fabric and the finished stitched piece are already en route to Jan Stitch and Needle Necessities, who's way more adept at sewing than I am, and is going to whip that up into a project bag. If you'll remember, Jan is also the one, I sent her the fabric for this bag, and she whipped this up for me along with a Notions pouch, 2 grime guards, and my thread catcher. So I sent her a yard of the fabric for a project bag and a grime guard with whatever she has left over. So now's as good a time as any. I'm sitting here talking about it. I did record a quick video showing the finished elephant as well as the fabric that I'm going to use for that project bag and the fabric that's going to be used for the peacock that McKenna sent to me. So I'll insert that video here. Hello my friends, just a quick video to show you the finish of the Ever So Little design number 7, which is the elephant. This was stitched 1/2 using 40 count linen by XJU Design in the Rocky Mountain colorway. The final design, I think it's about 3.5 inches long by 1.5 inches wide. It's very tiny. This is the pattern, Ever So Little design, and this is number 7, simply entitled Elephant. Now, as you know, that was gifted to me for a Stitchy Christmas by Elena and Olivia B. And in the spirit of what they did, I did decide I was going to pay it forward and send that pattern to someone else. And I have reached out to that person on Instagram via private message to send me their information so I can send it their way. This is my 3rd finish of 2018. And this is the fabric that I'm going to have it made into a project bag, as I said I was going to do. And this is a gorgeous fabric with a series of medallions and elephants, and it is just fabulous. And I got an excellent deal on it on Etsy, which is usually where I get my fabrics. I don't buy fabric often because I don't sew. But for a couple of project bags that I did have made for me by Jan's Stitching Necessities, I got some fabric from Etsy, I'm sorry, and sent it to her to have made into a project bag. So this is simply a quilting cotton. It's really, really beautiful. And this came from Twisted Cedar Studios. There's the information, the website, at Twisted Cedar Studios on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. I'm going to have to tag her in on the post that I put in on Instagram. That's her information. Very affordable, very quick shipping. The fabric smelled great. There were no issues with it smelling old or smelling like smoke. I had a really pleasant experience. While I'm here, I might be able to pull out the other piece of fabric that I ordered from the same person for the small peacock piece. I'm trying to do this with one hand. The small peacock piece that McKenna sent me. I'm going to pause this because I'm making a whole lot of noise. It's a hot mess. One sec. Alright, I'm back. So this is the fabric that I picked out for the peacock piece that McKenna sent me. Again, with the beautiful medallions, and the peacock is absolutely ridiculous. He is so gorgeous. And I don't know if it'll show up, but the gold part of his little plumes are metallic. Well, they're kind of shimmery. But this is another quilting cotton. I'm going the wrong way. And this is what I'm going to use for this barrack sampler pattern that McKenna sent me. Now I'm going to change this a little bit. I am going to use the same type of colorway, like the blues maybe, and the green, this olive green. But the peacock itself is going to be in metallic gold because we know our girl McKenna likes to sparkle. So I'm going to either do that in Kreinik or Treasure Braid, well, Kreinik or Treasure Braid, Petite Treasure Braid, I'm not sure. But this little guy, he's going to be completely in gold metallic. Not sure if I'm going to stitch the word peacock. I don't know. I might just stitch this top border and then repeat it down here and just stitch the peacock, but I might not stitch this and I might not stitch the P. Not sure. But this will be what I plan to do with this. Isn't that beautiful? So thank you, McKenna, my love. Thank you. But yeah, these little itty bitty smalls, I'm so used to working with large patterns that I like the smalls. I just never know what to do with them. So I thought I would just continue to feed my love affair with project bags. And this way I will be able to forever remember these gifts my beautiful friends gave me and fill the bags with stitchy goodness for years to come. As they should be filled, right? Alright guys, that's all for now. I just wanted to capture this real quick before I send this off to have the project bag completed. But again, that is my third finish of the year. Thank you, Elena and Olivia. Smooches. Bye. So that was the video showing Be the Elephant finished. Like I said, the embrace is at the framer, so I don't have that to share with you, but obviously I will share it with you once I get it back. And the third finish was a mini finish, but a finish nonetheless. I finished the letter A on Prairie Schooler alphabet. So the Prairie Schooler alphabet I started, when did I start it? I don't know. I didn't put the date on here. So I started it some time ago as part of a sal. I think it was with Olivia and Emily last year maybe. I don't know. But I got most of the letter A done, and then I stopped. So Caroline advised that there was another stitch along coming up between her and Stitchy Mom, I believe. And as always, I inserted myself into Caroline's life and I invited myself into her stitch along. So she reminded me that now was as good a time as any to get it started. And with I'm participating in the Friday Off the Grid group. So the Friday Off the Grid group, you probably have heard about it a million times now, where Caroline started this group with these, you know, Friday night stitching parties, because she used to do her Friday night stitch with me. Well, she still does her Friday night stitch with me videos. And we would all watch her videos and stitch with her. And it evolved into this concept she had about a Friday night stitching. So hashtag off the grid Friday party, from 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. on Friday night, wherever you may be. Some of them in Australia and Japan, Korea, I believe. They start on Thursday or Friday morning. Friday morning when we wake up, they're well into their stitching party. So wherever you are, it's a Friday night stitch-in where all of the off-the-grid group members get together and we have one big virtual stitch-in. It's from your house. You don't have to be on video or anything like that. It's just the concept that we're all stitching together at the same time. So anyway, I decided I was going to use my Prairie Schooler alphabet as my Friday night stitch-in piece. And for 6 hours, whenever I participated in the stitch-in, it's only been 2 so far and I've participated in both, I stitch on the Prairie Schooler alphabet. So as a result, I was able to finish the letter A last week which I deemed my third finish of 2018. And I've started on letter B, which was last night. So I'll show you that today. Before I get deep into the WIPs and the haul that I have, just wanted to give a couple of quick shout outs. You know, I'm always late with finding new people. Like Ingeborg, the whole world knew about her before I did. Allie's Stitching Studio, whole world knew about her before I did. And I ended up binge watching them because I love their videos so much. Well, here we go again with D Squared. Donna and Debbie. I knew about them. I've seen them, I've heard about them, but I never got around to watching them. And I was watching Flosstube, and you know, when I watch it on the TV, it'll automatically upload another video when the video you're watching is finished. So D Squared automatically uploaded, and I just let it go. I was like, oh, okay. They are the funniest women. They are two women that are housemates, and they share the love of cross-stitching, and I'm telling you, it's like Lucy and Ethel. They are so funny. So I've been binge watching them lately, cracking up. They just feed off of one another so naturally, and I just love watching them. They have so much energy and just joy, and they just crack me up. They are funny. So I will link them below, but if you're not watching, if you're late like me, go watch them. The other person I want to give a shout out to, I know I gave a shout out to her in the Friday Off the Grid group, and I might have talked about her in my last Stitch With Me video, I'm not sure, but Karen from the Needlebug. She's somebody I recently discovered because she is in the Friday Off the Grid group, and she does Stitch With Me videos. So I was watching her videos, and she's one of these people that just, she seemed like a natural because she was just talking and telling stories, and I was just listening and engaged. And what I didn't realize was that she seems to be pretty infamous in the cross-stitch world because of the reproduction samplers that she has done. So many of you might have already heard of her. I did not. So I'm watching her and I'm listening to her, and she's talking. She made some reference to her samplers. She was very humble about it. But when I posted, I gave her a shout out in the Friday Off the Grid group, people started commenting. They were like, oh, I love your samplers and da-da-da-da-da. I love your work. And I'm like, wait a minute. So I Googled her. Karen, I Googled you. I Googled her and I'm like, oh, this is a thing. You know, she's done some samplers, some reproduction samplers. So I went back on her video and I left her a note saying how much I loved her videos. And I asked her, can you talk about your history with reproduction samplers? Because apparently they've been displayed internationally. So I asked her, can you talk about it if you don't mind? And if possible, share some pictures. Wow. She did a Stitch With Me video. I don't know if she posted it yesterday or the day before, but I watched it last night. And she talked about how she has stitched over 40 plus reproduction samplers. They've just been displayed all over the world, including Germany. And she stitched like over 40 of them. Excuse me. Huge ones. Fascinating story listening to her. If you're into Stitch With Me videos, go watch her, The Needlebug. I will link her below. But if you are into samplers and you appreciate reproduction samplers, watch this video, because at the end she shows all the samplers that she has done. They've all come back to her from when they were displayed. They're now back to her and displayed in her home. Oh my God, they are amazing, amazing work. Like, I want to stitch every last one of them. I have made a deal with myself that I am not going to go on that European Reproduction Samplers website. I'm not allowed there. I have no business being there because nothing good will come of it, I'm telling you. that's where a lot of her, I believe, I don't want to misspeak, but I think that's where a lot of the patterns that she stitched came from. I don't want to misspeak on that. But anyway, she's also going to come out with some hardanger videos, which I truly appreciate because I'm working on Desiderata now. And you know, we're not close, but we're going to eventually be closer to that cut work at the end. And we know I'm terrified of that. So 2018, I have committed to exposing myself to hardanger. So my first experience is not going to be on this piece that I've been working on for 2 years. So yeah, 2 shout outs, wonderful women, loved stitching with them, listening to them, just wonderful. Totally different. Like the D Squared, they are a comedy duo almost. They are so funny. While Karen is a bit more reserved, but fascinating. So whatever your cup of tea is, go watch them, support them, enjoy them. But that's all I have for shout outs for right now. Or at least all that I wrote down. I'm sure I have more that I just can't think of. 15 minutes in, we still haven't shown any stitching, so let's show some stitching. So let's start with, I talked about my Prairie Schooler alphabet. This is its current home right now in the big project bag. So this, do you guys use these Peacock organizers? Oh my gosh, these things are amazing. So Tracy P turned me onto these. And actually, the needle bug, Karen talks about this. So I'm not going to talk about this, but Karen, I have one, and you're right, they're amazing. So if you watch Karen's video, she talks about these. And they are just as amazing as she says. So Prairie Schooler alphabet. I'm doing it all on one piece on 28 count Monaco. Somebody asked me about Monaco and what my thoughts were on it. Do I prefer it over 25 count Lugana in some situations? So just to talk about Monaco, this is Monaco. If you can, it's a denser fabric. It's not heavy by any stretch of the imagination, but it has a nice weight to it. It's not flimsy like a linen might be, or like a Joblin or a Lugana. It has a little bit more density to it. So if you're doing 1/1 stitching on 28 count like I am, I really appreciate Monaco. This is also the fabric I believe that Priscilla and Chelsea stitch on. I think they only stitch on 28 count Monaco and then they tea-dye it. Last year or the year before, I had a coupon from Joann Fabrics and it was on sale. So I ended up with an entire bolt of 28 count Monaco. It's in white though. The one I really like is antique white or tea-dyed. It's in white, but I can easily, immerse that in some coffee or tea and keep it moving. But I really do like this fabric a lot. And I was asked if you had your preference, would you stitch on 25 count Lugana? I'm trying to get these little fuzzies off. If you had your preference, would you stitch on 28 count Lugana or 25 count Lugana or 28 count Monaco? And it really depends on I responded and said it really depends on the pattern. Like if it's a full coverage piece, 1/1 on 28 count to me can get a little bit dense. That it might end up getting a little bit tricky to get my needle through. I don't feel like fighting with it. So for full coverage, I definitely would go to a 25 count Lugana 1/1. But if it's something with a lot of motifs and some negative space, I might go to the 28 count Monaco if I'm doing 1/1. Really depends on the pattern, but I love both of them equally for different reasons. So here we have, I'll fold it up because this is on a half yard of fabric because I'm stitching it all in one piece, not unlike what Jan from the Thread Garden did. Yeah, that should do it. So here we have my start. You can see where I finished the letter A, and now I'm going into letter B, which you see with leaves and the holly berries. That's what I did last night. 1/1 on 28 count. zoom in maybe so you can see how teeny tiny those stitches are. I can't see what you're seeing, so hopefully I'm showing you something right now. Teeny, 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 tiny little stitches. So I guess if you're looking at it in comparison to my needle minder, you see how big the entire motif is. So one thing that I'm getting a lot of questions on is how am I doing the spacing since I'm doing this all on one piece? Well, initially I said I was spacing everything 3 spaces apart. There are going to be letters underneath the A, squares going underneath the A. So I think J is going to go right here because I'm doing it 9 across, 3 down. So I think it's J that's going right here, if I remember correctly. Or, yeah, J for jack-o'-lantern. That's going right here. I'm going to count 3 stitches from beneath where this line ends. So there'll be 3 stitches vertically between each letter square. But horizontally, it's a little different. Each square, the stitch count ranges from 100 high. They're all 100 high. The stitch count ranges from 70 wide to 73, 74. They vary. So what I've done is make sure that I count the width for each square as 75. So the A, for example, this is 73 inches wide on the pattern. So I just counted to 75, gave it 2 extra spaces, and started my B. B is 71 stitches wide. I'm just going to add 4 more spaces, 4 spaces to make it 75 square stitches wide, and then start C. So no matter what, each and every square is going to be 100 high by 75 wide. That's how I'm counting it. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, feel free to ask below or send them to me, and I will do my best to answer. I don't mind answering, but I keep getting that question, and it doesn't sound like I'm answering it clearly. So hopefully that helped to explain. Every single square will be 100 high by 75 wide. Actually, I think that's the simplest way to say it, and I was explaining it differently in my responses. I probably just made it all the more confusing. But anyway, oh, here's the peacock fabric. I just showed it to you. But here is what McKenna sent me, and I think I explained I'm going to do the peacock in all gold metallic. I'm not going to do those letters. I'm not going to do the letter P, but I'm going to do the top and the bottom and put that peacock in gold in the middle. And this is the fabric. Well, there you go. So that's pretty spectacular in my opinion. You know I love a peacock. Always with the peacock parade in these videos. So that's coming down the pike pretty soon. I think I'm going to wait to see how Jan puts that together before I start stitching on this one. But I think I just housed it in here because it's such a big and roomy bag. It was just room to fit everything. So that is my Prairie Schooler alphabet. I'll be working on that on the Friday night hashtag off the grid Friday party. The group is Friday off the grid, and I will link that below as well. But this is my Friday off the grid party piece. And the cat just made a noise. So next up, why don't I just show you this? I've been focusing on finishes lately, which is not something that I normally, that's my MO. I'm usually a serial starter. But I think I talked about this in my last video. I was really focusing heavily. I came into the year last year focusing on finishes with Rafiki and the Raven Queen. And I ended the year focusing on finishes with the Embrace. So I finished the Embrace early in the year, and I said I was doing the unofficial year of WIPs. I listed all of my active WIPs. I think I'm up to, when I say active, I don't mean actively working on them, but active as in I may not be working on it right now, but I have every intention of picking this up again sometime soon. I think actively in my, I think I have a top 10 list of, that includes pieces that I really want to work on finishing this year, and Desiderata is one of them. I'm going to go ahead and show this because well, I'm not going to say anything more than that, because even if he does watch, he won't pick up on it. So anyway, I'm focusing on Desiderata right now. I don't know how far I'm going to get. I don't know if I'm going to keep going until I'm finished. That's what I'm trying to say. But I'm enjoying it. I'm just going to keep going with it and see what happens. So I'll insert a picture. Hopefully I can insert a picture here of where it was the last time I showed it to you. And this is where it is now. So this is on my almanac frame, so everything else is rolled up, so I can't show you the whole piece. But I finished the second page. There's 5 pages in all. I finished the second page, and this is the top of the third, right here where the letters are. That is the very top of the third page out of 5. So this is the one, it's on the frames right now. I am actively working on this piece, and I'll be working on it probably when I finish recording this video. So that's where we are with that. What's in here? All right. So I had a new start. Very humble new start. There's not a lot to it. So I'll go into the new start that I had. The new start was also part of an order that I placed on 123 Stitch, I think on January 8th. The pattern came in. As soon as I saw it, I wanted to start it, so I did. And then I went right back to trying to find the pattern. I might have put it in the bag. And then I went right back to Desiderata after that, and you'll see I didn't start much on it. But somebody posted a picture of their finished piece for Long Dog Samplers, Spirit of Roland. I'm sorry. And Karen, I think this was what you were talking about, these types of samplers in your video. And I wasn't sure if this is what you were talking about until I saw some of your work and I saw the similarities in the motif. So I didn't know that Verland was a type of a sampler. Maybe I'm gonna look that up and educate myself some more on that, because I saw some patterns that you did, like Meta and Meti, I think you said, that were Verland type samplers, and I didn't know it was a type of sampler, but it made sense to me because this is called Spirit of Roland. So I'm going to do some research on it and educate myself on that so I understand a little bit better. But somebody, I think it was in the Friday Off the Grid group, posted a picture of their finished Spirit of Roland, and they did it in Oxblood by HDF, and it was so fabulous. And I wanted that pattern. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get that pattern. And then it was serendipitous because I went to the Stitching Post, my local needle workshop, to drop off the embrace to get framed, and right above the framer's door, because they frame it right there in the shop, right above the opening to the back of the shop, was the Spirit of Roland on the wall, and it was amazing. And I think it won, they entered it in Woodlawn, and it won like first prize or something, I don't know. But I asked her if she had the pattern. They didn't have it. So I was like, okay. And I got it off of 123 Stitch because I really wanted it. And as soon as I got it, I started it because it's what we do. So here is the Spirit of Roland. It's 1/1 on 25 count. Yeah, 25 count Ivory Lugana, I think. It's a very humble start. with my new needle minder from Down Sunshine Lane. I run on coffee and cross stitch, because I do. This is stitched 1/1 on 25 count Ghana, and I'll show you what I'm using. I'm using from the Gentle Art sampler threads, Verdigris, I don't know, Verdigris, I'm gonna mess it up. That one. So it's like green and dusty blue and browns. That's the name of it, Verdigris. And then I thought maybe for some accent colors, that's where the cinnamon would come in. I don't know if I'm gonna do that, but I put it on here just in case. I think it's cinnamon, yeah. So that's my start on Verdigris, the spirit of Roland. So let me tell you the story about how this happened. Because if you recall in my last video, I said that I wanted my first new start of the year, initially, to be Esther's Waves, right? Fine. And then I decided, nope, I'm not going to start Esther's Waves. I'm going to do Be the Elephant. I'm going to start off the year completing a love gift that was given to me. So I wanted to do Be the Elephant. I'm sorry, I forgot where I was going. So I finished Be the Elephant, finished the Embrace. I finished Be the Elephant last Sunday, the 14th. You know how we do. We finish one, we pick up another. I was still in the mood to whip my whips. So I decided I was going to work on Lily of the Woods by Mirabilia. This was the piece that I started on my birthday last year, where I came up with this concept that I was just going to have, I only like to have one big lady going at a time. Big ladies are lavender and lace, Mirabilias, those types of things. I only like to have one going at a time. So I decided I was going to start last year a new Mira every year on my birthday. Doable. It's very doable and realistic to finish a Mira in a year. Even with rotations, it's realistic. Doesn't always happen, but it's not an impossible goal, right? So I started Lily of the Woods. I'm going to insert a picture of where she was here. And now I'm going to insert a video of what happened. Hey guys, it is Sunday, January 14th, 2018. Having a bit of a bittersweet moment here. So I just finished The Elephant, and I went to another project that was on my unofficial Year of WIPs list. And I pulled out the WIP that I think was the oldest one that I haven't touched since last year. And this is Lily of the Woods by Mirabilia. Started on my birthday of last year, and I don't think I've touched it since that initial start. So in one of my old videos, here's the progress that I made. One of my older videos, I talked about how I wanted to do this, and I went through all these trials and tribulations about measuring the fabric, measuring the pattern. Tracy P had to help me just to make sure that this beautiful design would fit on this piece of fabric that was hand painted by Sunny Designs, Sunny Moon Design, what's it called? I'll look it up and post it below. But it's called Snow Moon. It's 28 count Lugana. And it's amazing how when you go from stitching 1/2 on 40 count to 28 count, how big the stitches seem all of a sudden. They're not huge, obviously, but after stitching on 40 count, yeah, these seem big to me. But anyway, when I first introduced this piece in one of my older videos, I was determined to get it on this piece of fabric because it would be so perfect. And I measured and called in the Calgary, had Tracy P help me, and together, we're smart women, we could do math, it would fit on this fabric. So I started it. I decided that I wanted her to be laying right underneath the moon. Perfect. Now, here's the discovery that I've made several months later. Number one, it will fit on this fabric. Number two, she will be able to be nestled right beneath the moon as I envisioned. Great, right? Number three, she will not fit on this fabric based on where I've started stitching. I have all of this approximately 1 inch too far to the left. Talk amongst yourselves, clutch your pearls. I know. I know. So, in one of my last videos, I think the one where I was talking about everything I went through, I don't remember who it was, but she came up with this brilliant idea that I can't believe I didn't think of. To actually take 2 pieces of DMC that are measured in the length and width, the height and width of where the design is to be placed, and place that on your fabric to make sure it'll fit. It was brilliant. I never even thought of that. So all of these months later, I think the last time I touched this was in July. So fast forward, what is that? Quick math. I don't know, 5 or 6 months later. 6 months later, I did that. And that's when I realized it was off. It was off by 1 inch. So I'm extremely grateful for that feedback. But all of this needs to be frogged. And that's okay. Because if I had gone any further without that feedback, I'd be devastated and the fabric would surely be ruined. But this I can recover from. But all of this is going bye-bye. Bye-bye. I know. Clutching pearls, right? Everything was off by 1 inch. I had to frog it all out. I was watching, who was I watching? I was about to watch the Fiber Friends podcast because I had just sent Caroline a message letting her know what happened, and I was devastated and I was going to spend my whole entire afternoon frogging. So she let me know, well, Fiber Friends just uploaded a 2-hour podcast, and I'm like, well, that's exactly what I'm going to do. That's right. And then McKenna started a live video and I got distracted. And I watched McKenna's live video. I hope you guys got a chance to see that on Instagram, where she was putting in the last stitches of Matter's Choice. She got up from her couch. She went into her craft room. She pulled out a frame. She stretched it. She ironed it. She marked it. She put it in that frame, wrapped it all up, and put it on the wall. And was done. All in one video. It was something to see. It was spectacular. And very inspiring, because I don't do that. I don't do that. I have a bit of shame. I'm a process stitcher. McKenna's more of a finisher. So we're very different, but it was amazing to see. But anyway, so I'm sitting there watching her live video and frogging. Long story short, I must have watched something else or listened to my audiobook, because I had been frogging for 2 hours. 2 hours. Before I realized I don't want to do this. I don't want to sit here and frog my day away. So I stopped. And I'll show you where she is now, because even after 2 hours, I still didn't stop frogging her. I complete frogging her. I still have some left to go. Isn't it tragic? I know. It's tragic. But she will still fit on this fabric, but she will just fit on this fabric. And that 1 inch made all the difference in the world. all the difference in the world, and I still want her on this fabric. So I'm going to painstakingly frog this out. However, I'm not going to restart Lily of the Woods right now. Lily of the Woods is going into the timeout corner for now. She's going to think about what she's done. She's going to think about how, you know, counting is important and math is important. And she's just going to think about the error of her ways. And I'm just going to still continue the tradition and start a new mirror on my birthday. And I'm just not going to work on a mirror anymore this year. Anymore until my birthday. And I think, because this one kind of took the wind out of my sails a little bit, I think I'm going to start the Gypsy Queen. Not sure, but it's going to be a new mirror on my birthday. I'm still going to do this one. I still love this one, just not going to love on her right now. So that's the story of a mirror. That was my cross-stitch casualty this week. I had another cross-stitch casualty, which is why I started Roland as my new big start this year. So this is all coming back to Esther's Waves. So Esther's Waves, this is Esther's Waves. It's beautiful. This is the one that I'm using the Fiberlicious Threads Peacock Fantasy 3 thread pack from Fiberlicious Threads. I think Deborah, who I was trying to get something close to what she had, she used Peacock Fantasy Thread Pack 1, which I believe had yellow in it. And I wanted all blues and purples, which is what I thought she had. But my pack is Peacock Fantasy 3. And I think in my last video I showed all of those threads and beads and all of that that I was going to use. So, once again, I had my sassy pants on when I ordered this pattern. This is the special, this includes the specialty stitches, not the cross stitch only. Emma, this is for you, because I know you said that you wish you were second guessing your choice about not doing the specialty stitches. You did the cross stitch only. You made an excellent choice. This is why I say this. I've done specialty stitches before. I'm by no way, shape, or form an expert at all. I still stumble through a specialty stitch and come out with bumps and bruises. But I have experience with them. I finished Spanish Diamonds from Northern Expressions Needlework. That was, if you guys remember, Operation Dad. That's the gift that I made for my father on what turned out to be his last Father's Day. That had specialty stitches and lots of them. I have experience with chatelaines. I've never finished one, but I have stitched on one. 2 to be exact. I have 2 that are on the go. They have specialty stitches. So I'm familiar with them. I'm not intimidated by them. Ooh, Esther's Waves is not for the faint of heart. I think this thing is more challenging in the best possible way. In the best possible way. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I think this is more challenging in some ways than a chatelaine. And I'll tell you why. It takes, like, I think in Caroline's last video, she was saying she loves a big pattern. She loves an intricate pattern. She loves patterns with a lot of detail and a lot of busyness. I'm the same exact way. We are cut from the same cloth, Caroline and I. Caroline, you would probably love this, but it's a doozy. I started off all of these little squiggly bands here, the little thin squiggly bands, they're all Jessica stitches. That's fine. But I don't know if it was the fabric that I chose. I don't know if it was the spacing. I don't know if it was the time of day, because it was late Sunday night that I started this. It was the day before a holiday, so I was off the next day. But it was also late at night. Maybe I was tired. I don't know. But I'll show you what I got done. And then I kindly folded it back up and pulled out Desiderata. This is what I got done. 2 Jessica stitches. 2. Like I said, I think maybe it was the time of day. I couldn't figure out the spacing between the two Jessica stitches because it goes in this squiggly line. I couldn't figure out the spacing. I forgot how to count. I forgot how to see. I just couldn't do it. And it was taking way too long. I was joking with Tracy P. I said, this is the equivalent of calculus right now. Like right now, late on a Sunday night, I'm trying to do calculus and it's not working. So I folded it up and I put it away, and I definitely will revisit this, but this is the type of thing where you want to pull it out on a day like today. It's bright, it's Saturday morning, you're awake, you're in the mood to stitch. That's the time of day to tackle Esther's waves. I even for a hot second contemplated getting the cross stitch pattern, and then I thought about it. I was like, no. You're a smart lady. You can do these things. I think it was just the time of day, but this is a tricky little devil. It's quite the pattern, and I'm excited about it. I love the challenge, but yeah, I think it was the time of day. It was a lot. So that's Esther's waves. That's my humble beginning on that one. So so far this year I have had 3 new starts and 1 finish. So right now I don't see any new starts down the pike except for Mika. When she is ready to start her twisted band sampler, I'm doing it with her in my Autumn Golds thread pack by Fiberlicious. I think I showed that on my last video. And whenever Caroline is ready to start the Quilted Bees by Long Duck Samplers, I will be doing that with her. I know she said she wanted to start Hoity Toity around her birthday. Our birthdays are very close to one another. So she has Hoity Toity planned for her birthday start. I have Amira planned for mine. And I don't know when she wants to start the Quilted Bees, but you know, she says, Letitia, do it. I do it. So when she starts the Quilted Bees, I'm going to start that with her. Those are the only new starts that I really see planned. I really want to try to focus on finishes this year. And when I wrote down all the WIPs that I have, active WIPs, mind you, there were some all of them I really wanted to work on. So I didn't want to, I don't know. I don't want to add to that right now. Now, that's not to say I'm not going to still get haul. Come on now. We know who I am. I'm still getting some haul, but not as much as I did before. Like I began really calculating, not really calculating, but I calculated what I have purchased this month alone, through like January 15th. And you know, when you put that stuff down in an Excel spreadsheet and you really calculate it and line it up, it's an eye-opener, isn't it? So since I did that, I haven't purchased anything since the 15th, like nothing. And that's fine. And I have no desire to purchase anything right now. I'm not doing, like I said, my year of WIPs is unofficial, because if I say unofficial, then I didn't fail if I didn't finish it, if I didn't actually see it through. Does that make sense? Like Stitch from Stash, I'm posting in the group and I'm trying to follow those guidelines, but to be honest with you, I already started off the year messing up with my purchases. So, you know, I just don't want to put myself in that corner, but I want to participate. It's kind of from the sidelines, if that makes sense. So, anyway, I'm rambling. So this is, what is this? Is this Esther's Waves? Yes, it is. I just want to put things back as I'm talking about them so I don't misplace anything, get anything confused. Pretty sure that was it for my WIPs. It was. So now on to, I do have a little bit of haul, not a lot. So late last year, I joined the So Much to Love Bag of the Month Club, because I do have a project bag fetish. I do love a beautiful project bag. I do. I love the project bags as much as I love putting things in them, and the things that I stitch that I put in them. So last year I joined the So Much to Love Bag of the Month Club, and this was the January bag of the month. This is where Lily of the Woods is currently housed. And this is the interior of the fabric, the interior of the bag. I don't even know if you can see that. It's like off-white with white paisleys. So it's very, you probably can't see that. It's an off-white fabric with white paisley. And she said that this beautiful fabric reminded her of pine trees and blue skies and snow in the wintertime. That's the back of it. And the contrast is like a light blue or light gray, like with little bits of snowflakes or something. Snowdrift, I don't know. It's a beautiful bag. Absolutely love it. So what's a little bit different about her bag of the month, which I've never participated in before, she sends little goodies inside of the bag along with a thank you note. So with this bag, I got my first piece of Jay's of hand-dyed thread from Jay's Cross Stitch. I follow Jay on Instagram. I've never gotten her threads before. I follow Jay on Instagram, and she does a lot of, she does the By the Bay, a lot of the By the Bay designs. She does Hawk Run Hollow designs. She completes them. She doesn't design them, obviously, but she stitches them, I'm sorry. And I think she switches out their threads, their recommended threads, for her threads, because her colorways, her colors are always so fantastic. It's like they jump off of the fabric. And for the longest time, I didn't even realize she dyed her own thread. I didn't realize she had a company. So that's Jay's Cross Stitch. Really beautiful. I'm going to figure out something to do with this. You know what? I might use this as the border. Remember when I said I was going to do the peacock in all gold and then do that little squiggly top and then at the bottom? I might use Jay's Cross Stitch for this. I might do that. So she also sent, I don't know, it wasn't meant to be a scissor fob, but it's how I'm using it. She also sent, she being Karen from So Much to Love, in her bag, she sent this key ring that I think was meant to be a thread holder. But I'm using it as a scissor fob, and it has a little charm on it with a pair of stork scissors. So that's just where it is for now. It's on my little scissors. I don't know if it's a scissor fob. It's a thread holder is what it is. It's a thread ring. And the little scissor charm almost looks like a knitting stitch marker. But that's where that is for now. So I thought that was cool. Also my 1, 2, 3 stitch haul, I got one of these seam fix rippers. Somebody was just talking about this, and I know that Pam and Steph talked about it. I know Tracy P has one. I know Danielle talked about it. It was very recent because I remember Abby Bella Stitch saying that she used the top of her Orly bottle of nail polish because it was silicone to help get rid of the little fuzzies. But this is what everybody keeps raving about, this silicone head. Apparently when you're frogging, it takes, you can wipe it over there and it erases those little, the thread residue. So I'm definitely going to try this on Lily of the Woods because there's a lot of thread residue left on that fabric. And I have to keep the integrity of the fabric intact because I really want her on that fabric under the moon. But, yeah. So I got that. I have been waiting for this particular pattern. It's been out of stock on 1, 2, 3 Stitch for the longest time, and it finally came back into, it was in stock. And I got it. You could probably tell why. Huge peacock right there. I love it. And I keep seeing people stitch it up, and it's absolutely fabulous. I love it, love it, love it. So this is Vintage Birds by Jeanette Douglas. Got all the fixings back there. Also ordered Whispered by the Wind. This is by Spring Lace by Whispered by the Wind. It's a lot smaller than I thought it would be. On 28 count Lugana, it's 8 by 8 inches. 109 stitches by 109 stitches. I'm probably going to do it like over 1, so it's only going to be like 4 by 4. Teeny tiny. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I might make a little cushion out of it or something. I don't know. This is Gerald's fault. Dear Governor. He was talking in his last video about the Dear Governor book that he got. I don't remember where he got it, but it had a lot of her floral designs in it. And I love her. Tia Gubner, excuse me. Tia Gubner. I love her designs. I love her work. I love her kits. So I went searching for the book when he was talking about it, and I found this on Amazon, and it fell in my cart along with some cat food. So cat food and cross stitch. Standard Amazon order, right? Finally, I got some needle minders. I haven't purchased needle minders in a very long time. That is not in any way, shape, or form a justification for what I'm about to show you. Just saying it's been a long time. The last order I placed for needle minders was actually from Abby Bella Stitch. When she was closing up her shop, she sold a ton of her needle minders on eBay, and I bought a lot of them. She would sell them in lots, and I bought 1 or 2 of them, I think. They were very inexpensive, and that pretty much for me completed my needle minder collection. I didn't need any more. But then I got on this needle minder kick at the end of the year. I don't know. It was, you know, retail therapy, whatever. So I was buying needle minders, and it started with Caroline showing off the beeswax bliss that she kept talking about. Somebody sent it to her, and she really liked it. So I was like, all right, let me try it, because I'm a thread heaven girl. But this is, I got the Beeswax Bliss from Down Sunshine Lane. And this is the first and only beeswax that I have ever liked. I really like it a lot. But I don't know what it is. This is what I have. I have the cube of the beeswax. It's 100% beeswax, but it comes in this 1 ounce size. This leaves residue on my thread. I'm talking about me, not anybody else. I know there's a lot of people that love beeswax. It smells good. There's a lot of people that love beeswax. There's a lot of people that love thread heaven. But for me, when I ran my thread through that, it would dull the sheen of my floss to the point where if I stitched next to, and I showed this once before in a picture, if I stitched with the same, it was in the Funky Fish Carnival, I showed it. If I stitched with that same strand of blue that I ran through beeswax next to that same color that didn't have the beeswax, you could see there was a dullness in sheen. There was some type of coating where it looked lighter, it looked dull. And I see if you work on a lot of samplers, if you work on a lot of primitive-like pieces, I can really see why you would like beeswax and what it does. But for me, I didn't like that it dulled the sheen of my silks and my DMC. I like the sheen. So I tried this, and Caroline was saying the Beeswax Bliss. I tried this, and Caroline was saying she ran it ever so lightly. So I was thinking, okay, maybe I'm running it through my beeswax too hard. Maybe I'm putting too much pressure on it when I run it through. I don't know. So I tried this, and I really liked it. It didn't leave a residue. It was a much lighter coating than Thread Heaven. I'm still a Thread Heaven girl, but I loved trying this out and having this alternative. So very happy with that. So that came from down Sunshine Lane, who has extremely fast shipping. I had no idea. I know that Danielle uses them all the time. A lot of people do. But this was my first order from them. I had no idea. That shipment, I got the shipment email, I think that same day, and had this in my hands like 2 days later. It was like 1, 2, 3 stitch fast. So I was very impressed with that. But when I ordered my beeswax, I ordered a few needle minders. Now I just showed you that I run on cross stitch and coffee. That came from down Sunshine Lane. I also got these 3, an OCD, obsessive cross stitch disorder, a sock monkey, and a cat butt. Oh my God, it's a cat butt. I know. It's a cat butt. If you're not a cat person, then I probably really offended you just now or showed you the most disgusting thing you've ever seen. If you are a cat person, you know that is the cutest needle minder on earth. It's a little cat butt. But anyway, I'm a cat person. So, got those needle minders, which clearly wasn't enough. A while ago, Danielle showed a needle minder that she had that held beads from Denkai Designs, and I kept meaning to get one of those. So I did. I've never ordered from Denkai Designs before. Is it Denkai Designs? Let me say it correctly. It is. From Denkai Designs. I've never ordered from her before. I hear about her all the time, but I've never ordered her before because I wasn't really doing needle minder purchases. Well, when I got Esther's Waves, and I intended for that to be my new start, I decided, okay, maybe I should get one of those needle minders because it's going to be a lot of beading. A lot of beading. So I did, and that's it. This has a little piece of film over it right now, so that is what exposes the tacky part that you put your beads on. So that film is just still there. But that's the needle minder. It's got a pretty little backing. And that sits on your piece and holds your beads. So I have a bead mat, I have a tacky bob, but I just thought this would be a nice option to try. Well, it's a slippery slope. It's a very slippery slope because you can't just get this, right? You have to get this. So, the good thing is she sent me 2 freebies. So I appreciated that. There's the backs of them. She sent 2 freebies. It's like a sassy Tinkerbell and a sassy Alice in Wonderland. So thank you. I also got this beautiful needle minder. Isn't that pretty? It's like shell, like iridescent shell. Isn't that gorgeous? That's the back of it. Little Frida. McKenna, I think you have this one. I'm almost positive you have this one because I ordered it and I saw it and I said, I'm going to send this to McKenna. And then when you showed us your curio cabinet, I think I saw it in there. And if you don't have it, let me know and I'll send it to you. Because sharing is caring. Little Frankie cat. Here's my little Frankie. In a needle minder. Isn't that cute? Here's a little back of it. Now I also have some needle minders that are coming from Sunspot Creations, and there's a Frankie Cat needle minder on there. I call my cat's name is Frankie, but I call him Frankie Cat. So there's a Frankie Cat needle minder on that order with an ugly sweater on, and I'm very excited to get my hands on that. So that's Frankie Cat. This is a gorgeous peacock feather. The back, I mean, come on. How could I not get that? Come on. Sparkly octopus. Diamonds, guys. It's covered in diamonds. 221B, as in Baker Street. Do you know who lives at 221B Baker Street? If you don't, Google it. And finally, this is what started my descent into madness with the needle minders. Well, no, that was actually the bead mat needle minder. But when I saw this was the needle minder to end all needle minders, in my opinion. I just spoke in 1 or 2 Stitch With Me videos ago. I said my all-time favorite actress was Audrey Hepburn. I loved her, that she was just a class act. Even playing a call girl in Breakfast at Tiffany's, she was a class act. I just love her. I give you the Audrey Hepburn needle minder. I know. Pearls are being clutched. You're talking amongst yourselves. I know. It's an Audrey Hepburn needle minder, guys. There's the back of it. It's Holly Golightly, guys. It's disgustingly cute. She has a little choker, the little scarf around her neck. She has on her little gloves. Tiffany blue bow on her little tiara. She's ridiculous, isn't she? I know. So that is my first experience with Denkai Designs. I'm very happy with it. Just looking to make sure I didn't forget anything. I was very happy with Denkai Designs. Australia's order got here very quickly. The only thing that I'm still waiting to come in now is Kingdom of Books and 4 Seasons by Soda Stitch. And that will wrap up the last of my purchases that I made. So I'm going to see how long I can keep going. I don't need anything. I'm happy with everything that I have. And like I said, I'm focusing on finishes for now and getting that WIP pile down, and then I'm going to enjoy the orders that I have made, the new purchases that I have made. So we'll see how well I do. But I haven't purchased anything since the 15th, so that's good. So yeah. I think that's it. Is it? Oh, Caroline, look. This is where Spirit of Roland is. Evertotes. On Etsy. Go find them. They're fabulous. This is one of the beautiful Evertotes bags that Caroline and her sister-in-law make. www.evertote.com. So, or Evertotes on Etsy. That's all I have, my friends. I am going to... Oh, it's over an hour. I didn't realize it was lasting that long. I say that every time, don't I? But I think that's it. So the next video that I will put up will likely be a Stitch With Me video. The next 1 or 2 that I put up will be a Stitch With Me video. Let me know if you like those videos. I know there is definitely an audience for that type of video. And if you don't, that's okay. But if you like my update videos or you prefer my update videos, just know that when you see the thumbnail with the white background and the lady sewing, that is a regular Flosstube update video. If you see an update that might have a picture of a project on it, then that's a Stitch With Me video. If that helps, because I know not everybody likes the Stitch With Me videos, and that's perfectly fine. But anyway, that's all I have for now. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Enjoy the beautiful weather if you have beautiful weather. If not, enjoy stitching. Happy stitching, and love you all. See you next time. Bye.